The key to success and happiness. Bit cliche, I know. But at the end of the day, that's really what we're all after, isn't it? So what is this key? A good house? A good car? Or have the latest tech? Well, actually, it's all of these things and none of these things. Let me explain.
Okay, dude, would you rather have $30 million or 30 million loyal friends? Easy, 30 million loyal friends. Why? I just ask each of them to give me $5 and they're loyal, so they'll give it to me. Then I'll have 150 million at that point. Oh. Then I'd run for president. Boom, 30 million votes already. Good point.
So I watched this video the other day and it made me realize that having loyal friends and generally being liked is the real key to success. Think about it. Would you be the same person you are now without the support of your closest friends? Even the richest and most successful people in the world wouldn't be where they are now without the support of their closest and most loyal friends.
When I first met you 10 years ago, this company was how many people?
We had about 500 people.
And now?
We're almost 50,000 people.
I asked you back then if you were going to succeed, and you kind of looked at me as if to say, I don't know.
God, I thought at the time, I thought most likely you would fail.
You did?
Yeah.
What about now?
Now I think we will most likely succeed.
Take Elon Musk for example, the richest man in the world. This guy puts in work day in day out to show his appreciation and build loyalty.
I'd like to thank all the customers who own a Model S and X. Thank you for long-time supporters, and thank you guys for making it. Thank you.
Because he knows that his success is built upon it.
We're going to work day and night to do right by the loyalty that you've shown us. Thank you for doing that.
So having loyal friends is great, and technically the more you have, the more successful you're likely to be. Of course, 30 million loyal friends was an extreme example to make a point. But there is something to take away from this, and that is we should be making more of a conscious effort to build loyal and sincere friendships. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Shane. I'm a recently qualified doctor and neuroscience supervisor at Oxford University, and today I want to talk about making friends. Now, as students, we move around quite a lot, from school to university, from university to work, and so forth and so on. And we meet new people at every transition. So becoming successful and overall leading a happier life is heavily dependent on our ability to make loyal friends. And for a long time, I thought loyalty is just something that happens, and we have no control over who is and isn't loyal. But after reading this book, it made me realize that the loyalty we get from others is directly controlled by the way we behave. Now, I want to be very clear that I don't actually wholeheartedly buy into every single principle that Dale Carnegie talks about. And I certainly don't think that following these principles is the only thing required to form loyal friendships. At the end of the day, loyal friendships are very complex, and they're born out of circumstance, character, and fixed parameters. But what this book helped me to do is understand what we can control and how we should act on them to create a vehicle of opportunity.
We care about you. We want you to be safe. We want your friends and family to be safe. This is paramount.
Now, unfortunately, we tend to favor talking about ourselves because to us, we are very important and very interesting. Let me illustrate this. The New York Telephone Company carried out a detailed study to figure out what were the most commonly used words in telephone conversations. And you guessed it. The most commonly used word was the pronoun I. It was used almost 4,000 times in 500 conversations. Let me give you another example. Whenever you see a group photo, who's the first person you scan to look at? Exactly. The problem with being instinctively self-interested is that we put up barriers for loyal friendships to form. There's actually a great quote from the book. If we merely try to impress people and get people interested in us, we will never have many true, sincere friends. Friends, real friends, are not made that way. You can make more friends in 2 months by being interested in them than in 2 years by making them interested in you. Really, the point Dale Carnegie is making here is stop being selfish and become genuinely interested in other people. Find out what they've been up to, what they're proud of, and what their problems are. Invest your interest in them. So this all sounds well and good and very preachy, but does this actually work? Here's an example from the book. So there was this fellow called Mr. Naffle who owned a fuel company, and he'd been trying for ages to sell his fuel to a local chain store owner. But this chain store owner only bought fuel from outside town and never from Mr. Naffle. Then Mr. Naffle was having this conversation with Mr. Carnegie, the author of the book. Then Carnegie suggested, why don't you take a different approach? Why don't you actually show some genuine interest in this guy? So Mr. Naffel goes off and requests for a 1-minute meeting with the owner of the chain company. Mr. Naffel explained to the owner, I'm not trying to sell you any fuel, I just want to have a conversation about chain store companies and the merits of it, because I'm going on a debate and I'm arguing that chain store companies are good. The owner's eyes lit up and he spoke for almost 2 hours about the merits of chain stores. Then at the end, he wished Mr. Naffel very best of luck with the debate and requested that he get in contact in a few months' time because he'd like to place an order for fuel with Mr. Naffel. The moral of the story is if you want others to like you and form sincere friendships, become genuinely interested in them, talk about their interests and make them feel important.
But the nation of you and post.
The expression one wears on one's face is far more important than the clothes one wears on one's back. Basically, stop being miserable and start smiling some more. A smile is so important because it's an action, and actions speak far louder than words. A smile says, I like you, you make me happy, I'm glad to see you. And you know what? This is even scientifically legit. Chang et al. In 2014 carried out a study where they imaged people's brains whilst they carried out 2 actions. The first action was putting the pen in between their teeth. This apparently simulated smiling because it used all of the muscles involved in a smile. Then in the second action, they were asked to put their pen in between their lips like this. And this was meant to simulate frowning because it used the muscles involved in frowning, etc, etc. And what was interesting is that the same areas of the brain that were active when you smile are also active when you're happy. So it's plausible that a smile can induce an emotion of happiness, and it can induce that emotion not only in you but also in others. And how can you not like someone that makes you happy? Now, the smile is so powerful that you don't actually have to see it. For example, telephone sales companies all across the world train their employees to smile whilst they are on telephone conversations because the smile really comes through in their voice. Let me give you an example from the book. A researcher was after a PhD student to hire. He'd been searching for a long time until he came across a PhD student who is extremely qualified and perfect for the role. So they had a telephone interview and the researcher spoke to the PhD student on the phone just like he does with everyone, with a smile on his face. At the end of the interview, the researcher found out that the PhD student actually had loads of offers from much bigger labs and companies. So the researcher didn't really have much hope that the PhD student was going to go with him. But a few days later, the PhD student rings back and accepts the offer from this researcher. A few weeks into the job, the researcher asked, why did you pick us? You had loads of different options from much bigger labs and much bigger companies. The PhD student said, the way you spoke to me on the phone really made me feel you cared about me. Whilst the other companies were so cold, I just felt like a business transaction. The takeaway from this is smiling is a very powerful and easy thing to do that'll help us come across more likable. But of course, make sure it's a genuine smile.
We're going to work day and night to do right by the loyalty that you've shown us. Thank you for doing that.
Now this is something I buy into completely. Drawing from my own experiences, I've had days where I've worked long hours in the hospital, putting in that sweet work and seeing a load of patients, sometimes staying back 2 to 3 hours after I'm meant to, and understandably and proportionally I'll be a little bit annoyed. But if that patient or my seniors took a little bit of time to say thank you and show true appreciation, any feelings of annoyance drastically reduces and I actually feel good about it. What I and Dale Carnegie in his book are trying to say is that honest appreciation has the power to transform emotions and create a feeling of warmth towards those who appreciate us. And at the same time, non-appreciation creates a sense of resentment. Take this story from the book. There was this farm woman in charge of cooking for the workers. At the end of a heavy day's work, all the workers piled up around their dinner table waiting for their food. Now this evening, the farm woman came along and put some hay on top of their dinner table. Obviously the workers were quite annoyed by this and asked if she'd gone crazy. To which the woman replied, I've been cooking for you guys for 20 years and not once did any of you take the time to appreciate that or let me know what I was cooking wasn't just hay. The point of this story is not enough appreciation comes with obvious negative consequences. Okay, so it's the solution to go around flattering and complimenting everyone. Flattery is fake. It's selfish and most people can see right through it. In fact, here's a great quote from the book. Don't be afraid of enemies who attack you. Be afraid of the friends who flatter you. So no, flattery isn't it. Instead, it's honest, genuine appreciation. And that's something that the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, worth over $188 billion, knows exactly how to do.
Just say to those that have lined up to buy a Model 3 and that in some cases spent days outside of our stores to be first on the list. I just want you to know that really matters to us. We really care. And we're going to do everything we possibly can to get you the car as soon as possible. So we're going to work day and night to do right by the loyalty that you've shown us. Thank you for doing that.
Now, most companies offer discounted rates for their employees as a sign of appreciation. Musk believes discounting their products shows a lack of integrity. So what does Musk do to show his appreciation? Well, he says a genuine thank you at every opportunity to both his employees and customers. But going beyond that, he openly admitted that one of the main drivers for creating the Tesla Model 3 was in fact that his employees could finally have a Tesla option that they could afford.
And the people in the audience are the people that have designed and engineered and built the Model 3.
Instead of discounting existing models and losing integrity, he decided to create a brand new model of Tesla just to honor his employees. And the employees in return made him the richest man in the world.
So congratulations to the design team. You've done a phenomenal job. I've enjoyed working with you every week. You guys are amazing. Nice work.
The takeaway message from this is show genuine appreciation to those around you. It'll create a vehicle for genuine connections and sincere loyalty. Now in the book, Carnegie talks of several other principles that can help form stronger connections with your friends. For example, he advocates the use of first names as early as possible, because their name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Alongside that, he also advocates for talking in terms of other people's interests and making the other person feel genuinely important. If you are sold by this and you go away, pick this book up and try and read it, don't be amazed that a lot of the principles are quite common sense. What this book helped me to do is actually bring these principles to my attention. It wasn't that they were groundbreaking or new or something that I wasn't really aware of, but it did highlight and emphasize to me the power and importance of actually doing and carrying out these principles. If you'd like to find out more about how to lead more successful and happy lives, you might like to check out this video. But that's it for me for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
So thank you all for coming tonight, and I hope you had a great time. Thanks.